This video is sponsored by Whisker. Last year, like probably everyone else on the planet during the height of the pandemic, Megan and I got Sully, a Maine Coon kitten that was the runt of his litter. So tiny, but extremely playful and very snuggly. But we noticed that in his first few days home, he had some trouble breathing. He was often sneezing, he sounded congested, and he had some extremely leaky eyes. Luckily, we had already scheduled a vet appointment, and that vet visit, well, it informed us that Sully had developed an upper respiratory infection. We didn't know what that was and we were kind of spooked, but the doctor told us that it's really common in kittens, especially those that have traveled from one home to another. So Sully's vet prescribed an antibiotic to fix the problem, and in a week, everything would be back to normal. Or at least that was the idea. Unfortunately, he started to lose his appetite, and on the rare occasion that he would attempt to eat his kibble, he'd almost instantly vomit it all back up. So it was suggested by the vet that we try to give him wet food instead, which we did, but he would just hack that right up as well. So, in a midnight visit to an animal hospital on the weekend, it was so expensive I don't like thinking about it, he had an esophageal scope and biopsy performed. And unfortunately, it determined that that antibiotic, the doxycycline, had caused extreme tissue damage to his esophagus. We later learned from other vets and a bunch of studies that this is not uncommon, and our original vet's decision to prescribe the antibiotic in the first place was criticized. Sadly, a stricture had formed in his throat that was almost entirely preventing the passage of food. We were instructed to feed him extremely small quantities of totally liquefied food that we had to blend. It was gross, just to see if he could pass it. But failing that, and the doctors were not hyper optimistic, it would mean we'd probably need to put him down. Even though we had only had him for a month at this point, he was already a part of our family. He was so full of life, he had so much character, and the thought of losing him was really hard. Luckily, we never had to make that decision, because despite all odds, he was able to get that liquefied food past the stricture. And as he grew in size, that narrow esophageal passageway, which normally don't grow, also grew in size. What this means is that he was eventually able to move back to just a regular, standard, off-the-shelf wet food pate. And even though he's going to be eating this expensive crap for the rest of his life, he is healthy, he is ginormous at 16 pounds just 1 year later. But this new diet, well, it presented a problem because wet food has a really high moisture content. And while hydration is awesome, it means that he consequently toilets 3 to 4 times per day rather than the standard 1 to 2 times for a cat that's on dry kibble. And I don't want to be obscene, but you know the smell of wet food before it goes into the cat? It's not good, but it smells so much worse coming out of the cat. His business smelled horrible. And in our small 1,600 square foot house with his litter box just off of our kitchen, maintaining a standard litter box by hand was not working. It was so gross. So we purchased the Litter Robot 3, an automated litter box that massively cut down on odors and saved us from having to attend to Sully's box multiple times per day. But I was never really 100% happy with it, and I ended up trying just about every other automated litter box on the market. This is just half of the ones I tried. This was a stupidly expensive endeavor, and one where just nothing really met my expectations. I admit, I semi-seriously considered starting my own litter box company, but I'm glad I didn't, because the new Litter Robot 4 fixed pretty much every major complaint I had with its predecessor, and it adds a ton of new features. And while yeah, this is a sponsored video, I genuinely believe that the Litter Robot 4 is the best automated litter box on the market, and I want to show you why. Taking the Litter Robot out of its box and setting it up is a piece of cake. You place it where you intend to put it, you plug in the DC power supply, you set up the Wi-Fi in the newly redesigned app, and you add litter. That's it. It's as easy as that. Now, using it is even easier. Your cat goes into the box, does the deed, and when they leave, an adjustable timer starts counting down to optimize clumping. Then, after a few minutes, the internal cylinder starts rotating quietly, with the clean litter being sifted through a particulate filter and the waste litter emptying into the bin below. The drum then reverses direction and the clean litter returns, and your cat has a perfectly smooth and clean surface to return to. It cuts down on airborne and surface litter dust as well. It's fantastic. It sounds simple enough, but there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, much of which you'll never have to think about. things like the odor trap system. The waste bin is tightly sealed thanks to heavy gasketing, but optional carbon filters or scented odor trap packs reduce the smell even further. This was always something that separated the Litter Robot 3 from the rest. It just didn't stink, and the Litter Robot 4 takes good smells even further. Another thing that provides peace of mind is the Safe Cat system. There are multiple redundant safety sensors. There's a laser entry detection system, that's the primary way, but there's also weight sensors, as well as a presence sensor inside the drawer opening itself, and even pinch sensors with active torque monitoring to make sure that you never put your furry friend at risk. Or friends. The Litter Robot 4 is fantastic for multi-cat homes with support for up to 4 separate cats. Showing you how often each individual cat is using the bathroom can really help identify patterns and spot irregularities. But you might be wondering, well, how does it keep track of 4 cats? Well, those handy weight sensors record each cat's hef every time they enter the box and measures their weight over time. The front control panel has been relocated to the top for easy access with helpful LEDs that show you the box's status, but I really prefer to just use the fully redesigned app, which is now best in class. Not only can you change a number of settings, like the time cycle delay or hours that you don't want the box cycling at all if it's in, say, a bedroom or a quiet place, as well as in-globe lighting, the list goes on forever. You can also see and even download an entire toileting history for multiple cats with historical weight, frequency of toileting visits, and more. At a glance, you can see how much litter you have remaining in the robot, as well as the status of your waste drawer. And when cleaning time comes around, the Litter Robot proves to be, as it has always been, a market leader because it cleverly dumps any remaining dirty litter into the waste bin, and it easily pulls apart to be cleaned. I even hose mine off in the backyard. It's a really quick and easy way to clean it. And that leads me to 3 things that are my personal, genuinely favorite parts of the Whisker Litter Robot 4. Number 1, the new laser and weight detection sensors give you real-time actual waste drawer levels. And this is so important because most automated boxes, they either have a lousy optical sensor that goes empty, 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 and then one little piece of waste gets in the way and it's like, I'm full, I'm full. What good is that? Or even worse yet, they just have a set number of cycles, like go 20 times and then we're full, which results in either under and or overfilling. An actual laser system that looks at the waste and goes, this is the percentage, is so amazing. Number 2, too many boxes are designed for tiny cats that my 16-pound Maine Coon just could never fit in, or the boxes are monstrously large. They're an eyesore. The Litter Robot 4 has a really massive cavity for cats of any size while still maintaining a fairly small footprint. I like that. Number 3, Whisker has a history of supporting its products, and on top of the excellent customer service, or at least customer service that they're known to have, I don't know, I've never had a problem with mine, they have always sold replacement parts on their store. And as someone that is heavily in favor of self-repair, Whisker is entirely unique in this market. Nobody else does it. And at $649, this thing is expensive. It's an investment. But knowing that I can fix it years down the line with parts that I can get easily provides a huge sense of relief. Sully loves the Litter Robot 4, and so do I. And that's the first time that I have really ever been able to say that about an automated litter box. They all get so close, but never quite get there. And I think this one has. It has made living with my needy cat so much more manageable, and I would not want to be without it. Check out the Litter Robot 4 in the description below, and thank you so much for watching. As always, stay snazzy.